Tuesday. I thought I was done hearing about Riley's trip, but I was wrong. Yesterday, our social studies teacher asked Riley to tell the class all about his vacation, and today he came to school wearing this ridiculous costume. But what was even worse was when some girls came up to Riley at lunch and started kissing his butt. Will you tell us more about your trip? See, he. But then I realized maybe that wasn't such a bad thing after all. So I started parading Riley around the cafeteria because after all, he is my best friend. Riley here just got back from South Dakota. South America. Whatever. Saturday. Dad has been taking me to the mall every Saturday for the past few weeks. At first, I thought it was because he wanted to spend more time with me. But then I realized he's just making sure he's out of the house for Roderick's band practices, which I can totally understand. Roderick and his heavy metal band practice in the basement on weekends. The lead singer of the band is this guy named Bill Walter, and me and Dad bumped into Bill on the way out the door today. Morning, Mr. Hafley. Bill doesn't have a job, and he still lives with his parents, even though he's 35 years old. I'm pretty sure Dad's worst fear is that Roderick is going to see Bill as some kind of role model, and that Roderick will want to follow in Bill's footsteps. So whenever Dad sees Bill, it just puts him in a bad mood for the rest of the day. The reason Roderick invited Bill to be in his band was because Bill got voted most likely to be a rock star when he was in high school. That hasn't really worked out for Bill yet, and I think I heard Anna Rentham is in prison. Anyway, me and Dad went to the mall for a few hours today, but when we got back, Roderick's band practice wasn't over yet. You could hear the guitars and drums from a block away, and there were a bunch of random teenagers hanging out in our driveway. I guess they must have heard the music coming out of the basement and got drawn to it, sort of like how moths get drawn to a light. When Dad saw all those teenagers in the driveway, he totally freaked out. Dan ran inside to call the cops, but Mom stopped him before he could dial 911. Mom said those teenagers weren't doing any harm and that they were just appreciating Roderick's music. But I don't even know how she could say that with a straight face. And if you ever heard Roderick's band, you'd know what I mean. Dad couldn't relax with all those teenagers out in our driveway. So Dad went upstairs and got his boombox. Then he put in a classical music CD and let it play. And you would not believe how quickly the driveway cleared out after that. Dad was pretty proud of himself for thinking up that one. But Mom accused him of getting rid of Roderick's fans on purpose. What? I can enjoy my music too? Sunday. Today on the car ride to church, I was making faces at Manny trying to get him to laugh. I made this one face that made Manny laugh so hard that apple juice came out of his nose. Wah ha ha ha. But then Mom said, "You could have killed him." Well, once Mom put that thought in Manny's head, it was all over. See, this is the reason I keep my distance from Manny. Every time I try to have a little fun with him, I end up regretting it. I remember when I was younger and Mom and Dad told me I was getting a little brother. I was really excited. After all those years of getting pushed around by Roderick, I was definitely ready to move up a notch on the totem pole. But Mom and Dad have always been super protective of Manny, and they won't let me lay a finger on him, even if he totally deserves it. Like the other day, I plugged in my video game system and it wouldn't start. I opened it up and found out that Manny had stuffed a chocolate chip cookie in the disk drive. And of course, Manny uses the same excuse he always uses when he breaks my stuff. I'm only 3. I really wanted to let Manny have it, but I couldn't do anything with Mom standing right there. Mom said she would have a talk with Manny, and they went downstairs. A half hour later, they came back up to my room, and Manny was holding something in his hands. I'm sorry, Bobby. It was a ball of tinfoil with a bunch of toothpicks sticking out of it. Don't ask me how that was supposed to make up for my broken video game system. I went to throw the stupid thing away, but Mom wouldn't even let me do that. Your brother made that for you. The first chance I get, that thing's going in the trash, because mark my words, if I don't get rid of it, I'm going to end up sitting on it. Even though Manny drives me totally nuts, there is one reason I like having him around. Ever since Manny started talking, Roderick has stopped making me sell chocolate bars for his school fundraisers, and believe me, I'm grateful for that. Before. Hello, sir. Would you like to help support? Not interested. Now, would you like some chocolates? How precious. Monday. Madame Lefrere made us write our first pen pal letters today. I got assigned to this kid named Mamadou Montpierre, and I guess he lives someplace in France. I know I'm supposed to write in French, and Mamadou is supposed to write in English, but to be honest with you, writing in a foreign language is pretty hard. So I really don't see the need for both of us to stress out over the whole pen pal thing. Dear Mamadou, first of all, I think we should both just write in English to keep things simple. By the way, remember how I said I was going to end up sitting on Manny's spiky tinfoil ball thing? Well, I was half right. Riley came over today to play video games, and he ended up sitting on it. I'm actually kind of relieved, to be honest with you. I lost track of that thing a couple of days ago, and I'm just glad it finally turned up. And in all the commotion, I threw Manny's gift in the garbage, but something tells me Mom wouldn't have stopped me this time. Wednesday. Roderick has an English paper due tomorrow, and Mom's actually making him do it himself for once. Roderick doesn't know how to type, so he usually writes his papers out on notebook paper and then hands them off to Dad. But when Dad reads over Roderick's work, he finds all sorts of factual errors. Well, for starters, Abraham Lincoln didn't write to kill a mockingbird. Roderick doesn't really care about the mistake, so he tells Dad to just go ahead and type the paper like it is. But Dad can't stand typing a paper with errors in it, so he just rewrites Roderick's paper from scratch. And then a couple of days later, Roderick brings his graded paper home and acts like he did it himself. This has been going on for a few years, and I guess Mom decided she's going to put an end to it. So tonight she told Dad that Roderick was going to have to do his own work this time around, and that Dad wasn't allowed to help out. Roderick went into the computer room after dinner, and you could hear him typing about 1 letter a minute. I could tell the sound of Roderick typing was driving Dad totally bananas. On top of that, Roderick would come out of the computer room every 10 minutes and ask Dad some dumb question. Where's the space bar again? After a couple of hours, Dad finally cracked. Dad waited for Mom to go to bed, and then he typed Roderick's whole paper for him. So I guess this means Roderick's system is safe, at least for now. I have a book report due tomorrow, but I'm really not sweating it. I found the secret to doing book reports a long time ago. I've been milking the same book for the past 5 years. Sherlock Sammy does it again. There are about 20 short stories in Sherlock Sammy Does It Again, but I just treat each story like it's a whole book, and the teacher never notices. These Sherlock Sammy stories are all the same. Some grown-up commits a crime, and then Sherlock Sammy figures it out and makes the person look stupid. Your first mistake, Mr. Beasley, was when you forgot to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Geek. I'm kind of an expert at writing book reports by now. All you have to do is write exactly what the teacher wants to hear, and you are all set. Man, Sherlock Sammy is so smart, and I bet that's 'cause he reads so many books. I bet you're right. There were a bunch of hard words in this book, but I looked them up in the dictionary, so now I know what they mean. I guess you are a bit of a Sherlock yourself. A+. October. Monday. There was a kid named Chirag Gupta who was one of my friends last year, but he moved away in June. His family had a big going-away party, and the whole neighborhood came. But I guess Chirag's family must have changed their mind, because today Chirag was back in school. Everyone was happy to see Chirag again, but a couple of us decided to have a little fun with him before officially welcoming him back. So we basically pretended he was still gone. Boy, I sure do miss Chirag. Yeah, I wonder how he's doing. Hey guys, I'm right here. I have to admit, it was pretty funny. Did you just hear something? Nope, must have been the wind. At lunch, Chirag sat next to me. I had an extra chocolate chip cookie in my lunch bag, and I made a big deal about it. I wish Chirag was here. Oh, how he loved chocolate chip cookies. But I'm sitting right next to you. I'm not even that hungry. Okay, so maybe that one was a little cruel. Gobble, gobble, smack, smack. I guess we'll probably let Chirag off the hook tomorrow. But then again, this invisible Chirag thing could turn into the next PU. Tuesday. Okay, so the invisible Chirag joke is still going and the whole class is in on it now. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself or anything, but I think I might have class clown in the bag for dreaming this one up. In science, the teacher asked me to count the number of kids in the classroom so she'd know how many pairs of safety goggles to get out of the closet. So I made a big show of counting everyone in the room except Chirag. 33, 34, there are 34 people in this class. Well, that really set Chirag off. He got up and started yelling, and it was really hard to stare straight ahead and act like he wasn't there. I am a human being too. I wanted to tell him that we never said he wasn't a human being. It's just that he's an invisible human being, but I managed to keep my mouth shut. Before you go and say I'm a bad friend for teasing Chirag, let me just say this in my own defense. I'm smaller than about 95% of the kids at my school, so when it comes to finding someone I can actually pick on, my options are pretty limited. And besides, I'm not 100% to blame for dreaming up this idea. Believe it or not, I got the idea from Mom. This one time when I was a kid, I was playing under the kitchen table and Mom came looking for me. Has anyone seen Gregory? I don't know what made me do it, but I decided to play a joke on Mom and stay hidden. Mom went all around the house calling my name. I think she must have finally seen me under the kitchen table, but she still pretended she didn't know where I was. Poor Gregory, all alone in the snow. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. I thought it was pretty funny, and I probably would have stayed hidden under there for a little while more, but Mom finally got me to crack when she said she was going to give my gumball machine to RODRICK. So, if you want to point fingers on the invisible Chirag joke, now you know who's really to blame. Thursday. Well, yesterday, Chirag pretty much gave up on trying to get anyone in our class to talk to him. But today he found our weakness. Riley, do you think I exist? Nope, I can't even hear you or see you. I forgot all about Riley. When the joke first started up, I made sure to keep him away from Chirag, because I had a feeling Riley would blow the joke. But I guess I kind of got too cocky and let my guard down. Chirag started working on Riley at lunch, and he came really close to getting him to crack. If you say I exist, this corn dog is yours. I could tell Riley was about to say something, so I had to act quick. I told everyone there was a floating corn dog hovering above our lunch table, and then I plucked it out of the air and ate it in 2 bites. So thanks to my quick thinking, we were able to keep the joke going. Gobble, smack, not as good as the regular kind, though. But that really made Chirag mad. He started punching my arm, but of course I had to pretend like I didn't notice. And let me tell you, this wasn't easy to do. Chirag might be small, but that kid can really punch. Is there a flea breathing on me? Because it feels like a tiny little flea is breathing on me. Friday. Well, I guess Chirag must have complained to a teacher about my little joke, because today I got called down to the front office. When I got to Vice Principal Roy's room, he was pretty mad. He knew all about how I started the joke, and he gave me a speech about respect and decency and all that. But luckily, Mr. Roy got one crucial fact wrong, and that was the identity of the person we were playing the joke on, so that made the apology part a whole lot easier. I am deeply sorry, and now I do indeed admit that you exist, Sheriff. Mr. Roy seemed pretty satisfied with my apology, and he let me go without even tacking on any detention. I've always heard that when Mr. Roy is done chewing a kid out, he sends them off with a pat on the back and a lollipop, and now I can tell you firsthand that it's true. Saturday. Riley's birthday party is tomorrow, so Mom took me to the mall to get him a gift. I picked out this cool video game that just came out, and I handed it to Mom so she could pay for it. But Mom said I had to buy it with my own money. I told Mom that first of all, I have zero money, and second of all, if I did have any money, I wouldn't be wasting it on Riley. Mom didn't seem too happy with what I said, but it's not my fault I'm broke. I actually had a job this summer, but the people I worked for stiffed me, so I didn't earn a single penny. We have these neighbors named the Fullers, who live a few doors up, and they go away on vacation every summer. They usually leave their dog Princess in the kennel, but this year they told me they'd pay me $5 a day to feed Princess and take her out. I figured I'd earned enough to buy a whole pile of video games with that kind of money. But I guess Princess is gun-shy about going to the bathroom in front of strangers, so I ended up spending a whole lot of time standing around in the hot sun waiting for this dumb dog to hurry up and go. Come on! I'd wait and nothing would happen, and then I'd just take Princess back inside. But every time I'd leave, Princess would make a big mess in the foyer, and I'd have to clean it up the next day. Toward the end of the summer, I got smart and realized it would be a whole lot easier to just clean up all of Princess's messes at once instead of doing it every single day. So I fed her and let her do her business on the foyer floor for about 2 weeks. Then the day before the Fullers were due back, I headed up the hill with all my cleaning supplies. But guess what? The Fullers cut their trip short and got home a day early. I guess they didn't know it's polite to call ahead and let people know when your plans have changed. Tonight, Mom called a house meeting with me and RODRICK. She said that the two of us are always complaining that we don't have any money, so she came up with a way for us to earn some cash. Then, she pulled out some play money she must have dug up out of a board game, and she called the money Mom Bucks. Mom said we could earn Mom Bucks by doing chores and good deeds and stuff like that, and we could trade them in for real money. Mom handed us $1,000 each to get us started. I thought I had struck it rich, but then she explained that each Mom Buck was only worth a penny for real money. Mom told us how we should save up our Mom Bucks, and if we were patient, we could buy something we really wanted. But RODRICK cashed in his whole stash before Mom was even done talking. Then he went down to the convenience store and blew his money on some heavy metal magazines. If RODRICK wants to waste his money like that, he can go right ahead, but I'm going to be smart with my Mom Bucks.